Hey there, welcome to day one of our February 2021 Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And normally on day one, I talk about what the challenge is, how it's going to work, what we're going to do. But today I'm going to do something very different. And here's why. I realized that in the month of January 2021, I was taking a month off from doing the challenge. I'd done 5 30-day challenges last year, 30-day plus last year of the Get Up and Go Challenge. And I loved every one of them. And I had a lot of personal growth and saw a lot of growth from other people and moving forward and wins from the challenges. And I decided, okay, I'm going to take January off and see what a difference it makes in my life. And much to my dismay, made a huge difference in my life, but not in the direction I want my life to be going. I slid backwards on several areas with respect to my drive toward progress, which is something that I'm always doing. And so I was getting ready to start this challenge. I went back and I looked at the December challenge, and I realized that on the 31st, the bonus day, I did lessons learned from 2020. And as I read through the list, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot some of these things in 2021. And the biggest, most important thing about the lessons that we learn is that we remember them and we carry them with us into the rest of our life. So if we have a bad experience, or if we have a bad situation or a bad change or something, a challenge or a setback or a roadblock that happens in our life, the most important thing is that we learn what that event was here to teach us. And we make sure that we learn that lesson so that we don't keep repeating it. Now, I realized in the month of January that I have several lessons and patterns that I haven't learned, and therefore I repeat them. Here's a prime example. Holiday eating. Now, last year, I broke that pattern because I was really, really sick. I swear I had COVID over the holidays, and I broke that holiday eating pattern where you eat all kinds of stuff that isn't necessarily good for you and that you wouldn't eat any other time of year. Well, this year, I kind of gave myself permission to make up for last year and for lost time, and carried that habit of eating salty and sugary foods and foods that I know are bad for me personally and my inflammation into January of 2021. Not a good move. I also carried some other things that I normally don't do into 2021, and they had negative impacts on my emotions, my feelings, my desire to move forward in certain areas and with certain projects of my life. And I've only let that happen a couple times before that I consciously was aware of it. But this year I was significantly aware of it. So today, instead of telling you how is this challenge going to work, and I'll go over that tomorrow. It's going to be super easy, super simple, super valuable and quick for you to do, but also really powerful and transformational. We will, of course, cover the soap framework. I even made a new bar of soap framework, but we won't get to that until probably several days into the challenge. So let's look at the list of 2020 lessons learned. And I might admit some of them that I didn't carry over, but you at the end are action item today. Every day we'll have an action item. Your action item today is to share the most important lesson that you learned from 2020. Or if you're like me, my most important lesson learned is that I need to learn the lesson and remember it. I can't just tuck it away at the end of one year going into the next year, because I was going to do top 10 things learned, and I ended up making a list of 33, which I will run through super quickly to give you some idea. And there's some repetition in them, of course, because that's how my brain works. But I want you to share in the comments below just one lesson that you learned. Maybe it's not the most important thing, but maybe it's the most important to you. Or maybe it's something that you think other people could really benefit from. But what's something that you're taking away from 2020 into every other year for the rest of your life? Hopefully, that's what I'm going to do with these 33. I'm going to make sure I remember them going forward and I apply them to my life and I don't forget the lessons that I learned, because 2020 taught us a lot. If we were open to learning any lessons, and I was open to learning the lessons, I captured them, and then I found myself slipping and not necessarily doing them. So what were some of those lessons? Number one is a swear word. Shit happens that we can't even imagine. Now, I've learned this lesson from my past in business and in life and in all areas and aspects of my life, that stuff just happens and it's outside of our control, and it's stuff that we can't even imagine. You know, we may have had contingency plans. I've always had contingency plans for my business and for different key areas of my life, but I never had a pandemic as part of my contingency plan. It just never, even in my lifetime, uh, had been something that I needed to consider. Uh, Next, we get to keep moving forward no matter what. We've got to keep moving forward no matter what. 3, 100% personal responsibility to do what we can with what we've got right now. So no matter what happens, it's always our responsibility to decide and to do what we're going to do. Number 4, grateful for what is, not what we're missing, not what we can't do. And that leads to the next one. Do what you can with what you've got right now. Number 6, continue to move forward. Sorry, I'm using my book. I'm absolutely positively referring to my notes. And I did a bunch of goal exercises in between here before and used up the pages, so I needed to sneak ahead. What you want, your goals and dreams, no matter what. You always are responsible. You have to go for those things. People are not going to do them for you. Number 7, who you are comes from within you. Outside circumstances change, but you're always the same. You're always, or you're, what's the saying? Wherever you go, there you are, or something to that effect, means you are always the constant in any situation. Doesn't mean we don't change. It just means we're the thing that's the same in every situation that we experience. Be open, flexible to other possibilities. Different does not necessarily equal bad or negative. Just because something's different or changes doesn't mean it's a bad change. Think about it. I guarantee you've had good changes in your life. Number 9, there's always a way to keep moving forward. There's infinite possibilities. So often, and I learned about this the other day, false dilemmas. And I'd never studied false dilemmas, but apparently there's like 15 different ways that are arguments that people can set up that are false, that are absolutely, they're dilemmas that they're creating imaginary in their minds to trick and manipulate other people. We're seeing a ton of that going on in the United States right now. There's a whole lot of people creating false dilemmas that they give you an option. For example, one is an either or. They say you either do this or that. You either toe the line and agree with what the media is saying, or you're going to be shut down and canceled. That's just a quick example, but that's not true. There's a lot of other possibilities besides you do what they say or you're going to get shut down, right? Number 10, there's 2 sides to every coin, which means every situation. Losers, winners, you get to decide what side you're going to be on if it's a dual thing and you're going to take sides. 11, nothing and no one can stop you. But you, only you can stop you from creating what it is you want in any area or aspect of your life. It's totally up to you. You might have roadblocks. People might try to prevent you or stop you, but they can't stop you. If you decide you want something and you're going to go for it no matter what, nobody and nothing can stop you. Number 12, your timeline might change, but your outcomes don't have to. Maybe your business has been shut down, so some of the goals and objectives in the timeline for achieving a certain milestone you've set was put off in 2020, but just because you can't achieve it the way you had originally intended doesn't mean you can't achieve it. 13, if you're determined to do something, for example, to help other people, and your business gets shut down, you'll still find a way to serve, help, and add value to people's lives. Hundreds of thousands of businesses have been shut down, some permanently, some will never open again. But it doesn't mean just because your business is shut down from the traditional way of doing things that there's nothing that you can do to serve people. There's always ways to continue to serve people. 14, use things, love people. 15, relationship time increases. Challenges in relationships are highlighted, and sometimes change is required. Again, doesn't mean it's good or bad. Maybe it's just different. Number 16, creativity is required in chaotic times. Technological solutions, think of Zoom meetings, Zoom get-togethers for families, birthdays, and celebrations and things. We've done a lot of those in 2020 and continuing into 2021. I think virtual events were, just skimming and just beginning the service, and now they're huge. And big event planners and people that hold big events are finding it's much more economical. You don't have all the advantages and the energy of people being together, but there are ways to still achieve what you want at a much lower cost. And so I think you'll continue to see virtual events explode in the future, no matter what happens with the world around us. Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. Number 17, chaos is not justification for compromising on our values. Just because there's chaos and things going on around us doesn't mean that we don't do what's right for us and what feels right for us. You know, we do what's right whether people are watching or not. We do what's right all the time, not just when it's convenient. 18, have a to-do when you're stress list. I have on my refrigerator and in a notebook things to do when I'm feeling stressed or out of whack, and I guess I did a lot of those in January, but not enough to get me back on my track. But I have a list of things that you can just go do when you're stressed, so that when you're stressed, you don't have to think about things to do. You've got an automatic list you can just look at and refer to. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on I keep one on my refrigerator. You can do it in a notebook. I have lots of notebooks and things I do things like that in. Number 19, know we're all personally responsible for our actions and our reactions at any given time. 20, being a victim keeps us stuck. So if we think we're victims and there's nothing we can do, and the media keeps telling us that, stay home, stay locked down, wear 10 masks, whatever, if we decide that that makes us a victim and prevents us from doing things, that's entirely up to us. We don't have to be a victim. We don't have to be stuck. We always have things we can do. 21, focus on solutions rather than problems and symptoms of problems. 22, own your own emotions, but not anyone else's. So empathize, but don't sympathize. You can only be responsible no matter how much you love and care about someone. You cannot be or own their emotions for them. They have to be responsible for them, just like you have to be responsible for yours. 23, be kind to yourself and others. Boy, that's a big one. Even especially going into 2021, we need a lot more kindness and a lot less judgment. Give folks the benefit of the doubt. Reserve judgment. I guess I was thinking on the same track there. That was 24 and 25. 26, listen more, talk less. 27, get outdoors and some fresh air, sunshine when possible. Now, it's winter here in Wisconsin, and I will admit that January I've spent not anywhere near enough time outdoors and in the fresh air. I need to do that. And that's one thing, that's a lesson learned that I've known for a decade at least, and yet I found myself in January not doing it. Part of it's the pandemic, part of it's the cold weather, part of it is just letting bad habits seep in. And, you know, those are all excuses, right? There's no reason I can't do that. 28, do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Aha, that's a biggie. 29, nobody can do it for you. Absolutely can't. 30, this too shall pass. It's something we need to remember, that everything changes all the time. And as weird and as strange as things are right now, you know that they're going to change and continue to change. 31, we get what we expect and we get what we give. Those are two biggies. 2020 proved that to all of us. 2021 is giving us more of the same. 32, treat people the way you want to be treated. I can't tell you how many times I used that statement in 2020 and 2021 so far. Almost every day I find myself thinking and saying, treat other people the way you want to be treated. And then finally, 33, life isn't fair, but that doesn't make it okay to do anything wrong. Life isn't fair. My dad, a couple of really cool things my dad taught me when I was little was, and my sisters as well, there's no such thing as can't, and life isn't fair. It's not about fair. It's about you creating the life that you want. So I would love to hear in the comments below one lesson that you've learned. Obviously, I learned a lot of lessons, and a lot of lessons were reinforced for me last year as far as the type of person that I want to be becoming and how I want to show up in the world. And you might think these are crazy. You might be like, I don't agree with 90% of those. Well, you're probably in the wrong challenge, right? But if you do, and even if you don't, we can always learn things from other people. So tomorrow I will cover what the challenge is going to be like. This will probably be the longest day that we have with respect to a video lesson, just because I wanted to share a lot of stuff from the last challenge and from 2020, because for most all of us, 2020 was a year to remember. I don't think I will ever forget the year 2020, as will probably millions and millions of other people. So today, just share in the comments below one thing you learned from 2020 and that you'd like to carry through 2021. Again, mine is to take the lessons that I've learned and make sure that I'm remembering them as I go forward in other areas and other aspects of my life. All right, have an amazing day. If you have any questions, I can help you in any way. Hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow, and we will get this 2021 Get Up and Go Challenge started to guarantee that you'll have better results after any challenge or change that you face in the future. Take care. See you tomorrow.